start with something that's very fundamental to the constitution of this country, madam. It says India, that is Bharat, is a union of states. But today, after 10 years, in fact in the 11th year, we are in the question of saying what is the state of the union. We still don't know what is the state of the union. So India, that is Bharat, is actually a union of states. The states make up this country. And what the finance minister has done is ask us the question, what is the state of this union? Now, as my colleague has pointed out, we are missing on the collective wisdom of this house when senior members of the treasury benches are actually missing in action. When the opposition wants to bring attention of the various schemes and of the trouble and the problems of the people, we still, through you, madam, insist that the senior members be present when important bills like the finance bill is being discussed. So, what is this budget about, madam? It's actually primarily about misplaced priorities. The state, with its resources, is not being provided enough support so that they can carry on the people's work. I will go point by point, madam. So, a lot has been talked about job creation, and the finance minister, honorable finance minister, has been forthcoming with providing training for youngsters. And now what she has failed to address is that the majority of the youth is not in the formal sector. The total EPFO paying customers is only 3.05, whereas the total workforce is above 45 crore people. So what is being spoken about in the budget is less than 5% of the actual workforce. And the amount of companies, the formal companies actually paying EPF is actually much lesser than that. So the actual impact of Madam Finance Minister's statement about providing training actually doesn't cause any impact at all for the youth who's actually looking forward to training. So I guess the government should take note of the informal economy and the need for training there. Very important three segments that constitute to everyday life of the populace: fertilizer, food and education. So based on last year's numbers, the total allocation on fertilizer has been reduced by 13.5%, and food minus 3.1%, and education minus 2.2%. So government has many reasons to reduce, madam, but what I fail to understand is this. These three are the basic for any life to be lived upon in this country, on this planet. Now, when you reduce the allocation of the basic input that goes into life, how does the government expect the country to grow, madam? How does the country expect the country to have food on the plate of a common man and then work to pay taxes, which again is the next big topic, madam? But how can they pay with all the basic things reduced? I think the government should take proper care of actually allocating resources. Now, the very important segment, education. Now, the finance minister is going on about, and the education minister and the HRD minister have been going on about the resource allocation, and then the NEET issue, and saying that the central government is actually taking care of the people. What I fail to understand is very two important things. What the opposition is talking about is outcome, and what the treasury benches and the government is talking about is output. Now let me go with an example, madam. So the central government says that they have brought about transparency and they have brought about equality in education, right? They might have talked only about the process. Yes, they have bought in the exam. Yes, they have gotten, QR codes to let students in. And yes, there are a lot of harassment issues before the student actually makes it to the exam. There's so many issues. That's the output. What we are talking about is the outcome. What does the outcome talk about? The outcome talks about a fair chance a common man in this country can get to make it to the medical exam and to serve the people of this country. They are not talking about outcome at all. They are only talking about output. The process is great. We are not talking about the process, but the process is unfair. So the point from the opposition benches is, don't try to justify an unfair system saying that it follows procedure. The procedure can be wrong, madam. Please listen to the opposition. Number of people from my constituency, in fact, in the honor of Anita, a student who should have been here with me, or a doctor in Tamil Nadu is missing because of the bad policies of this government. So please take note and please get the outcome right. Don't forget about the output. I'll also tell you an analogy, madam. So number of members here have asked about highways, national highways, which is really good for the country, right? So here we go, building national highways all across the country. Now we have very good highways across the place. Now you have opened a new highway, right? That's the output. What's the outcome? Now if you have 50 accidents or 50 deaths in a year, that is the outcome. So what we are talking about it, please avoid the deaths. There's no use building a 4-lane highway so that people die faster. So what you're trying to do in NEET is actually push the inequality in the name of the process. So please open your eyes. There are people who are really suffering, and there's a lot of inequality in the system. Before it gets out of hand, please open your eyes and get a fair chance to each one of the individuals who are really needy.